What's up, wrestlers? It's your boy David Kid Dynamite Espinosa coming to you live with the Wrestler Inc. exclusive interview you definitely don't want to miss. Just 4 days away from UFC 169 and 2 world titles on the line, I'm proud to present to you my former college wrestling teammate and MMA living legend, the California Kid, Urijah Faber. Urijah, what's up, man?
What's up, Dave? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm friggin' so excited to watch you fight this weekend. How's everything going out there in Jersey?
Good, man. This last week is all a waiting game, so I'm basically eating a little bit, then working out a bunch, then eating a little bit and working out a bunch, and just visualizing the win, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Yep, another not your first rodeo, that's for sure. How's that weight cut? How's the weight cut getting down to 35s? You've been there for a little while now.
It's rough, man. It's rough. It's rough every time, but you get 24 hours to recuperate. So it's not like college where you had the 1 hour weigh-in and you had to get a little power bar and some fruit. It's I get a full meal and I get to put on a bunch of weight, so it's kind of nice at the end of the day. Yeah,
those 24-hour weigh-ins are definitely better than the 1 hour wrestling weigh-ins. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this fight coming up this weekend. Who's it against? Where's it at? And how can wrestling fans all over the country tune in?
So we have a fight scheduled out here in New Jersey, February 1st, and it's on pay-per-view. I'm fighting Renan Barao, who's the current UFC world champ, and this is a rematch. The first time we fought, he edged out a decision. He ended up breaking my rib in the first round, and this is going to be a whole lot different. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm excited about it. I'm eager to get in there and fight and get that belt.
Yeah, so Renan Barao is obviously a dangerous opponent coming into this fight with a 31-1 record, and like you said, he's got that UFC gold around his waist right now. How do you anticipate this fight playing out, and how do you think your wrestling will serve your advantage come Saturday night?
I think the biggest way that the wrestling serves an advantage in this fight, because he's known for submission defense. So the guy's got one of the best submission defense rates in the game, and he's a wrestler as well.
Interesting.
It's just knowing that it's there. I mean, he has to be on point, understand that I have the ability to take him down, so he has to honor that, which opens up all sorts of stuff. I can fake for takedowns, go for punching. I can threaten him with submissions. I can do a lot of different things, but just having that threat there is the biggest thing. And if he leaves himself open, I'll take him down for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that in your last fight with McDonald. I'm a good friend of McDonald's and a fan, but obviously I've known you for a while. And I actually called that fight maybe about 3 weeks to a month before you guys fought. I said second round submission, guillotine choke, and a lot of people call me crazy, but afterwards I was getting texts from friends all over the country like, you called it. So
that's pretty funny, man. Yeah, he's a very tough dude, man, and he's got a long career ahead of him. So hopefully he wasn't too hard on himself, and he gets back in the gym and gets back on the winning track. Unless he's fighting one of our guys, then he's going to be in a world of hurt again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, definitely good luck to you this weekend. I'm going to be watching. I hope everybody else is. I want to ask a few questions that are kind of more directed towards wrestling, because you got the whole wrestling community as your audience right now. First, there's a huge argument that wrestling is the most dominant single discipline in MMA. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you feel wrestling has helped your MMA career?
I just had a conversation with a former Cal State Fullerton wrestler, and I think that wrestling is the predominant sport that leads into to mixed martial arts. And I don't necessarily think it's the technique as much as it is how difficult wrestling is. Wrestling is a hard life to live, from competing for 6 months out of the year, cutting weight. You've got battles every day in practice. You've got a sport that doesn't allow you to rest. And that in itself is kind of what helps mold the fighting mentality. Aside from that, the skill that we that we learn is so instinctive that it's off of drilling over and over and over again. So I think you take that wrestling mentality and apply it to any other martial art. But as a base, as training wheels for the fight game, there's no doubt that wrestling is the best.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any kind of statistical report, but I'd be interested to see, tallying up all the UFC title holders and going back and like checking out their history and their where they started their disciplines and seeing actually how many of them came from wrestling versus jiu-jitsu versus striking or boxing, Muay Thai, etc. But for another time, I think.
Yeah, there's I mean, if they don't have wrestling in the repertoire, then they have to learn it. That's the one thing. It's the same for the jiu-jitsu game and the striking game, but I think the hardest thing to do is learn the wrestling because it's such a grind.
And I think, too, that wrestlers they've learned how to learn. It seems to me that wrestlers adapt to the other disciplines quicker than the other disciplines adapt to wrestling. And correct me if you think I'm wrong, but like you see a lot of wrestlers that start jiu-jitsu, and in just a couple of years they take off and they're competing at like the highest levels with the wrestling background, literally no jiu-jitsu their whole life. And you don't really ever see a jiu-jitsu guy come into the wrestling arena and dominate at that level.
Yeah, no doubt. Wrestlers are tough and they're adaptable, and that's part of the reason why we have so much success, not only in the fight game but in life in general.
Yep. We could take it to a little deeper water, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
So, just for fun, what's your favorite wrestling move outside of the cage?
Outside of the cage, I would say head and arm. That was the first move that I was pretty good at in high school, and I didn't have the fundamentals, but I could toss some guys, so I always like a little head and arm and a hip toss. Yeah.
Catch them high. I still teach people that, like, kind of that reverse headlock when you got that underhook and they try limp arming out of that underhook and you snatch it with their elbow up by their ear and just kind of wrench them over. I remember you taught me that in college. I use that all the time. I teach people that one.
Yeah, you just crush them into your chest and buckle their back.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, for upcoming wrestlers who have dreams and aspirations of becoming a fighter, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say, first and foremost, understand that it's a long process, So you've got one little part of the puzzle with the wrestling background, and just know that it's a long journey. So don't get discouraged easily, and understand that you have to keep learning. So jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, the blending of it all together, it's going to take time. But if you really want to do something, you just have to believe you can, and then find the right tools to make it happen. So that's the advice, and anyone can do it. It's just a matter of how dedicated you want to be.
Yeah. Do you think, and I didn't plan on this question, but I'm kind of just interested, do you think there's any benefit to cross-training early with the striking or with wrestling and jiu-jitsu or judo versus just focusing on wrestling? Do you think that there's any benefit to that as a wrestler?
I would say so. I mean, not necessarily stop wrestling and focus on all the other things, but to get acquainted, yeah. Join a gym. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that we do in the off season to train and stay in shape anyways. You can learn some striking, or even some of the jiu-jitsu game carries over. You can learn some new disciplines, judo, all that stuff. I think it makes sense. All through my wrestling career in high school, I played football, and boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu. It's all activation of your cardiovascular and your muscular system, and it's a good thing to dip into. But if you have goals in one sport, do all you can to reach those goals, and dabble in some of the other stuff until you're ready to make the full jump in.
Yeah, I agree 100%. All right, almost done here. In your opinion, who do you think are the top 5 wrestlers in MMA today?
In the history or competing now?
Let's say right now.
I would say Chris Weidman is one of the top wrestlers for sure. He's a guy that was able to transition well. He was top 3 in the nation, and that third spot in the Division I Nationals is a hard spot to get because you have to do the wrestlebacks.
Yeah.
You lost some, and you have to battle, so you got a really mentally tough guy.
Yeah, tons of pressure. You win more matches to take third than any other spot in the bracket, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's another guy, he fights in, he just fought, he's a Cuban guy who is an Olympic gold medalist or silver medalist in freestyle, and he's really good. He's 36. I forget his name. He's really good. I think functionally, Frankie Edgar is one of the best guys. I mean, he's a guy that, again, was a top 12 guy in the NCAAs, but when you see him wrestle in the fight game, he's one of the best guys at blending it. He can put the wrestling together and blend it well. And Chad Mendez, in my opinion, is the best wrestler who's able to transition. I mean, he can take down everybody multiple times. He's so explosive and gets the job done, with the wrestling and now with his hands. Mark Williams is another guy. He's a national champion who's a great wrestler, and Cain Velasquez. So those are all some real functional fighters that are wrestlers as well. Yeah,
definitely. So last 2 questions for you. Where do you see the California kid 5 years from now and 15 years from now?
Man, 5 years from now, hopefully I'm done and retired, doing something in the entertainment industry, still associated with wrestling and the fight game. Maybe doing some movies, some commentary, some motivational speaking, dabbling in some real estate, and having a great time. Probably have some kids and possibly a wife. We'll see.
No.
But
I won't dig too deep on that one right now. I'll spare you.
Yeah. So 15 years from now, I'm spending most of the time by the beach and having a lot of fun. Hopefully spending time with my kids and eating good food.
Nice. Okay, I lied. One last question. Who wins in a fight, Virgil or Sneaky Tom?
Well, Sneaky Tom is sitting right in the other room with his wife next to him. So and he also beat Virg every single time by 1 point or overtime in the wrestle-off. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Tommy just so I don't punk him in front of his lady. What's up, boy?
What's up, Tom? Oh, that's funny.
But well, cool, man. This is cool that you guys are doing this, Dave. For the folks listening at home who don't know, Dave was one of the guys on my wrestling team that also had a fight career that started out with Team Alpha Male and has gone on and done bigger and better things. So it's awesome that you're doing this, Dave, and giving back to the wrestling community. And I appreciate everyone getting behind me for this fight. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, brother. We're all rooting from you from California. Appreciate your time, and best of luck. I'm definitely tuning in Saturday night, and I'm going to get everybody I know and every Wrestler Inc. fan out there to tune in as well.
You got it. And, hey, make sure all you young wrestlers out there, if you're an amateur in any realm, check out MMAdraft.com. We've got all the knowledge on how to get into this sport, a bunch of helpful hints, and a way for you to sign up and get some exposure as well. So check that out. All right, guys.
Cool, brother. Take it easy.
All right. You got it, brother. Bye.
Later.